Students, will be learning your history chapter, The Making of Global World. Before understanding the history chapter, let us understand the word global world. Today we live in a global world. How? The clothes we wear, the branded clothes, the shoes that we wear, the pizza that we eat, each thing has its origin some or the other country of world. There is a fair possibility that the t-shirt you are wearing has got its threads from some X country, it is manufactured in some Y country and it is sold in Z country. So this is global world. Global world as in, see, globe is also world and world is also world. But what is global world? That each country is interlinked with each other. Now you might think, ma'am, it's 21st century, it is up, it is bound to be. But then what if I say it happened in 13th century also, it happened in 1st century also. So it sounds amazing, right? And that's what you are here for. You have to discover that which country was having international relations with other country right from the beginning, or maybe before the Christian era also, and how it flourished, which countries came together, which countries went separate, in what century what happened, how World War affected world trade. All this you are going to understand in this chapter. I always get this input from students that this is relatively tougher chapter. It's very complex actually. Some first part of the chapter takes you in the 1st century and you are in China. In the second part you are in 5th century and you are in Europe. And by the time chapter ends, you have finished the 2 world wars also. So the chapter is definitely an elongated one, but it is very easy and simple to understand if it is cut part in an episodic way. So here I have come up with 3 episodes, 3 things which you need to know from your part 1. So here is silk routes. Silk route as in what? The roots were made of silk? No. The routes from where silk traveled. So earlier for fabric, silk was hot favorite. And there are some routes discovered which were passing from China to various parts of world, the entire Asian continent routes. So the route through which silk travel are known as silk routes. This is many a times asked for 1 mark in your boards. What are silk routes? It passed from China across Asia, and not only sea route, even land routes. It is believed that these routes established before the Christian era, so quite old, right? And not only did silk travel, religion, currency, food, etc. too got exchanged. So now when the silk is going, obviously the traders are going. Some religious priest says, please take me with you. He is going, and wherever the silk route stops, he just lands there and starts spreading religion there. Same way they used to carry some food with them for survival, and then they used to spread it wherever they went. So this silk route basically spreaded so many things along with silk. Okay, so that's all about silk routes. Children, now I am taking you to the Irish potato famine. What happened? People in Europe, the poor people in Europe, they had their main source of food as potato. And one year, that is 1940s, was such that this potato crop, it caught some disease and all the potatoes got destroyed. Now people were highly dependent on potato, and since there was no potato and they could not afford other food, so what happened? So many people had to starve. This is known as humble potato because it was a food for poor. So many people, they starved and they died. It's a very small episode what happened in Ireland, or it is also known as what is Irish potato famine. It's a very small episode that people in Europe, the poor people specifically, they dependent on potato, and in 1940s, the mid 1940s, the potato crop failed. There is also one image shown in your textbook wherein children are digging the land in search of maybe 1 potato if they get. And hunger is something which is cursed to humanity, right? If you cannot suffice your food needs also, it's a big question mark. It's something which nobody can accept, right? It's not acceptable thing that people die because of starvation. But yes, it happened in Ireland. So that's Irish potato famine. Now, conquest, disease and trade. Like we have a notion, or maybe it is mentioned in our stories, that in Dwarka, under the sea, there is a Sone ki Nagri. So it's all a lot of gold there. Same way, there is a place South America known as El Dorado, and it is believed to be a fabled city of gold. So in stories it is said that there is a place called El Dorado and it is a gold city. So it is in South America. So till 16th century, America never entered into trade and all. They were quite closed economy. Closed economy as in they don't have much to do with these people, the outsiders. They were quite self-sufficient inside. They just dependent on their own country and people. So when everybody got to know okay there is a place called El Dorado, so everybody wanted to find out where it is. And in that time there were some Spanish people who decided to go there. Now if there are some weapons, you can fight with them. What these Spanish people carried on their body was smallpox, and since America was a closed economy, people did not meet other type of people, other tribes, other country people, so they were not having such immunity against diseases. They were quite delicate and fragile with their health. So this Spanish invaded with germs of smallpox, and slowly steadily, just like COVID is doing these days, it spreaded the entire continent. So here they say that conquest, disease and trade. You went there to attack on, but with the help of germs. So there was kind of passive germ war, and it affected so many Americans. I hope I am successful enough to help you with the knowledge of Silk Routes, what happened in Irish famine, and how El Dorado was a fabled city and how Spanish conquered with the help of smallpox germs. In the next class, I'll be teaching you another episode. See you then. Bye bye.